Right, now today's case concerns one Archibald Grieve, a gunner in His Majesty's Navy, who, accompanied by his faithful terrier, is home on leave after taking part in several famous naval battles. It is alleged that Gunner Grieve's mongrel terrier has had a liaison of the carnal variety with a purebred pepper terrier belonging to a Miss Isabella Dodd. Miss Dodd is seeking compensation to the value of 5 guineas for the Gunner Grieve's unwelcome violation of a pepper terrier by his terrier. Gunner Grieve contests the action and is seeking half of any monies that may or may not be forthcoming from the sale of any puppies. Ladies and gentlemen, I would ask when the officers of this court enter that you observe the protocols demanded by Scots law, in accordance with the Act of Obedience and Reverence, dated 1794. Those who disrespect the court or hinder the proceedings will be removed and imprisoned in the toll booth for a period of time to be determined by the shearer. Otherwise, ladies and gentlemen, please enjoy the performance. The court will rise.
I defend and forbid in our sovereign Lord's name, and in the name of the magistrates and bailies of the Royal Borough of Selkirk, that no persons or persons presume, nor take upon hand, and whatever colour or pretext whatever, to trouble or molest this court, nor speak for another without leave first asked, and then freely given, under all highest pains and charges that after may follow. God save the King.
God save the King.
The Sheriff declares this court to be duly fenced.
Silence in the court.
Thank you, Mr. Erskine. My Lord, this case concerns an action brought by Miss Isabella Dodd, seamstress, residing in the back row, against Mr. Archibald Grieve, gunner in His Majesty's Navy, currently residing in the Flesh Market. On May 5th of this year of our Lord, 1807, the pursuer, Miss Dodd, alleges that Gunner Grieve's mongrel terrier became, shall we say, intimately acquainted with her pedigree pepper terrier. The result of this liaison is that Miss Dodd's pepper is due soon to be the not-so-proud mother of offspring deemed by Miss Dodd to be inferior, therefore very little value. The pursuer, Miss Dodd, seeks reparation from the defender, Gunner Grieve, to the sum of 5 guineas for the inconvenience, discomfort and distress caused by the unwanted violation of her purebred pepper. Gunner Grieve, however, insists that his terrier is by no means an inferior breed, and that Miss Dodd's terrier was far from being the innocent party in the affair. He contests the reparatory fine and demands a half share of the proceeds from the sale of the puppies. And these, my Lord, are substantial this case that's something to report.
Thank you, Mr. Erskine. This is a regrettable case indeed, and the first of its kind in my experience. I have, of course, presided over actions of affiliation with Aliment on several occasions, but never involving 4-legged parties. I am, however, happy to accept that there is a first time for everything. Mr. Roger, do you appear as counsel for the pursuer?
I do indeed, my lord.
And am I to assume presume that the animal against whom the action is to be brought is the animal we see perched upon the enclosure?
Yes, my lord. You assume correctly. This is the alleged father.
Aye, sir. Nellie. We Nellie.
Nellie?
Aye, Nellie.
I may already detect a flaw in the pursuer's argument, and this may be brought to a very swift conclusion.
My lord,
I'm quite sure I'm not the only one in this court to have distinctly heard Gunnar Grieve announce that the name of his terrier is Nellie. At the risk of stating the obvious, surely two females of any species are quite incapable of providing the conditions necessary for the creation of offspring. Gunnar Grieve, did you or did you not declare that the name of your terrier is Nellie?
Aye, sir. Nellie. Nellie.
Female name for a female dog.
Ah, no, sir. I can see where you might get confused. I call him Nellie, after our brave Admiral Horatio Nelson, hero of Copenhagen and Trafalgar, and may God rest his soul.
Here, here.
I see. I must apologise to the court for wasting time in assuming that Nellie is a female moniker.
Ah, no, Monica! That is a female name in any of the herself.
Yes, Mr. Roger, you may proceed with your first witness before these puppies arrive.
Thank you, my lord. I call the pursuer, Miss Isabella Dodd, to the stand. Call Mistress Isabella Dodds.
It's Miss, and it's Dodd, no Dodds.
I will, just so.
Miss Dodd, please place your right hand on the Bible and repeat after me. I swear that the evidence
I swear that the evidence
I shall give
shall
be the truth,
be the truth,
the whole truth,
the whole truth,
and nothing but the truth.
and nothing but the truth, obviously,
As I shall answer to God
as I shall answer to God
on the great day of judgment.
on the great day of judgment.
Thank you.
You are Miss Isabella Dodd, seamstress residing in the back row,
Yes,
and you are unmarried.
I should say I am. I wouldn't trust any man as far as I could throw him, and that goes for males of any species. Though I fail to see the relevance of you calling attention to my spinsterhood.
Yeah, I'm sure it has no bearing whatsoever on your testimony. Miss Dodd, you are the owner of a Pepper Terrier.
A purebred pepper, sir. I bought her from Mr. Jockey Stoddard, a very highly regarded breeder of pepper and mustard terriers, and I declare she was not cheap.
I see, Miss Dodd. Miss Dodd, could you please explain to the court the events of May the 5th last that caused the prenatal predicament of your precious Pepper Terrier?
Well, it was the last event in the series that caused it.
Yes, quite. Well, perhaps we needn't go into the full details of the final event. I just wish to establish beyond doubt that Gunnar Grieve's dog was responsible for your Pepper Terrier being pregnant.
Right, well, it was a beautiful sunny morning and I was laying out the newly washed bed sheets on the hedge to dry. Molly came out of the back door and began sniffing along the bottom of the hedge. Now,
Molly is your Pepper Terrier?
well, who else would be sniffing along the bottom of the hedge? Now, I knew she was in season, so I was keeping my eye on her just in case she had encountered some roving tyke that was looking for, you know, hawk and a gun indeed.
A good old Scots expression, sadly replaced nowadays by considerably more vulgar terms.
You mean you were making every effort to protect your Molly from the amorous attentions of any passing dog?
That is correct, sir. Well, the next thing I knew, this Nelson had a grip of my Molly, and before I could fill a bucket of cold water from the pump, it was all over.
I see. I have no further questions, my lord.
Mr. Park, do you have any questions for Miss Dodd?
I do, my lord. Miss Dodd, you say that Molly was sniffing the ground along the margin of the hedge. Does the hedge separate your garden from the rough ground that lies between the back row and the flesh market?
It does.
And did the aforementioned I was about to say amorous congress occurred on the garden side of the fence?
No, sir. It happened on the common, or the rough ground, as you say.
I put it to you, Miss Dodd, that you were less than diligent in protecting your terrier from the unwanted attention of other dogs, allowing her to stray onto the common.
I haven't got eyes in the back of my head. The pepper is renowned for being able to worm its way through wee holes. I could do nothing to stop her, sir.
But had you been more vigilant, and perhaps confined Molly to the house while she was in season, then we might not find ourselves in this regrettable situation.
Grieve should have kept his towsy tyke under firm control and not allowed him to wander free to prey on unsuspecting wee peppers like my Molly.
Please, madam, you may keep the handkerchief. Are you certain that the dog who molested your terrier was in fact the dog referred to as Nelson and owned by Gunner Green?
Certain sure, sir. There was no mistaking his coat that's as black as soot. Forby, when Grieve held my yells, he came running and jumped over the wee ditch at the foot of the common. He managed to get grip of hold of his animal by the scruff of the neck and hauled him off. He seemed to think it was something to laugh about, saying, "Nelly, Nelly, you're an awful lad, and I shouldn't have fed you all that black pudding."
Thank you, Miss Dodd. No more questions, my lord.
You may step down, Miss Dodd. But before you do, have you decided what you will do with the puppies when they arrive?
Well, I will not be keeping them, my lord, under any circumstances.
Miss Dodd, I hope you will not think me presumptuous, but in the interest of helping to resolve this regrettable situation, I should be grateful to purchase the puppies, however many there may be, for, let us say, 1 shilling each.
That is an exceedingly generous offer, my lord, considering their doubtful lineage. I am happy to graciously accept it.
Thank you, Miss Dodd. You may return to your seat. Mr. Roger, do you wish to present another witness?
I do indeed, my lord. I call Mr. Walter Lindors. Call Walter Lindors!
Please place your right hand on the Bible and repeat after me. I swear that the evidence I shall give
I swear that the evidence I shall give
shall be the truth,
shall be the truth,
the whole truth,
the whole truth,
and nothing but the truth,
and nothing but the truth,
as I shall answer to God
as I shall answer to God
on the great day of judgment.
on the great day of judgment.
Thank you, sir.
You are Mr. Walter Lindors, town bellman residing in the back row.
Indeed I am, sir.
You were witness to the communion of Gunner Grieve and Miss Dodd's terriers on the morning of May 5th last.
Oh, aye, sir. I saw it all. I saw it all.
Can you please clearly describe to the court how they came to be in their compromising situation?
Oh, I can't. Beloved brothers and sisters, let it be known that on the 10th of May in the year of our Lord,
Silence!
Oh,
Put away that bell!
oh, sorry, Roger. Supposed to have it, you can.
Please continue with your testimony without the bell ringing, Mr. Lindors?
Aye. I felt I was a bell ringer.
Yes, indeed.
And so is head feather afore him.
Yes.
Can't get out of my way.
Aye.
Anyways, I was on my way to Parish Kirk. And just as I was going along the road there, this Dod's funny wee pepper terrier came running out from under the hedge and ran right out between my legs.
And where was Miss Dodd at the time?
Oh, she was laying out sheets on her hedge. I said to her, "Good day to you, Miss Dodd. My, those sheets look awfully white. They'll get pure and white as the driven snow. Just like yourself."
Oh, how did Miss Dodd respond?
Well, like you say actually, but she told me I can boil my heat.
I see. And in the meantime, where was her terrier?
Oh, she'd taken off away down the hill, gone towards the flesh market.
And you didn't see fit to warn her that her terrier was loose?
Oh, I did not, sir. I had tried to be perfectly civil and been told to go and boil my heat. No, I just went on my way.
And did you see the brief encounter of Miss Dodd's terrier and Gunner Greaves' dog?
Oh, aye, sir. You see, I suddenly took a notion to go and buy some sausages and a ham shank to the flesh market. So I thought, before I got in the kirk, I'll go down there first, and that's where I went. And as I was going down there, that's where I saw the deed.
And did you see Gunner Greaves?
Oh, no, sir, no. Not until Miss Dodds came out screaming and shouting down the hill.
And did Gunner Greaves make any attempt to separate the dogs?
No, sir, no. By the time he got there, it was all over. They were looking very pleased with themselves and all.
I see. No further questions, my lord, and that concludes the case for the pursuer.
Mr. Park?
Nothing arising, my lord.
Very well, Mr. Lindors, you may leave the stand.
Thank you.
Mr. Park, you may present your first witness.
Thank you, my lord. I call the defender, Gunner Archibald Grieve.
Call Archie Grieve!
Gunner Greaves, please place your right hand on the Bible and repeat after me. I swear that the evidence I give
I swear that the evidence I shall give
shall be the truth,
the truth,
the whole truth,
the whole truth,
and nothing but the truth.
and naught but the truth.
As I shall answer to God
As I shall answer to God
on the great day of
on
judgment.
the great day of judgment.
Thank you, sir.
You are Mr. Archibald Grieve, holding the rank of gunner in His Majesty's Navy and currently residing in the flesh market.
That's right, sir. I'm home for a month's leave and living with my dear old mother.
I hear tell that you served with great distinction at the Battle of Trafalgar, Mr. Grieve.
That is correct, sir. I was aboard the Terrier under the command of Captain Harvey. We did the Dons and the Frenchies a right good thick here and made no mistake.
We would all be very interested to hear about your heroic exploits off Cape Trafalgar. But sadly, we are compelled to concentrate on the matter in hand. Mr. Grieve, we see that your dog is a very affectionate and well-behaved animal.
Yes, that, sir. He's a grand lad and loyal. Hey, Nellie was allowed on board the Terrier as a ratter. And had only been there a day and a half when there wasn't a single solitary rat left on board the ship.
A very useful addition to the crew of the Terrier, therefore.
Indeed he was, sir. And of course, he was more than just a rat killer. He kept the crew in high spirits and all. Even in the thick of the fight, wee Nellie was running up and down the gunnels, barking his encouragement to the gunners and paying no heed whatsoever to the thunder of the cannons of the cannonballs tearing through the timbers.
How extraordinary. May I ask how Nellie came to be in your care?
Well, that's an interesting
He stole him, that's how!
Silence!
I will not be silent!
not allow you to molest this court. Either you will desist, or you will be placed in irons and thrown into the toll booth.
I beg your forgiveness, your worship.
Your name, please, madam.
I'm Tibby Blythe, and I need to say my piece.
Miss Blythe, Mr. Grieve will continue with his testimony under oath as to how he came into the ownership of the Terrier. And if you do not believe his tale to be true, then you will be called to the stand yourself, where you will give your own testimony under oath. Provided this meets with your approval and that of the court.
Yes, Sheriff.
Very well. Please be seated, madam. Mr. Park, you may continue with your cross-examination.
Thank you, my lord. Mr. Grieve, please resume your testimony.
Well, I was just about to say, Nellie was sold to me for 5 shillings by James Kerr. He's the gamekeeper up at Bow Hill 7 years since. I was a forester for his Grace the Duke of Buccleuch before I volunteered for His Majesty's Navy, and Kerr's suggested a terrier would be a good companion. Besides keeping down the vermin, he told me that Nellie had been found in a poacher's trap on Bow Hill Estate.
I see. It would appear, therefore, that the terrier came into your ownership by fair and proper means, being sold to you by this Mr. Curtis.
It wasn't his to sell, it belongs to my brother.
Silence! One mere word to you, woman, and you'll be dragged to the toll booth with your scruffiest, scrawny neck.
Madam, you have been warned not to disrupt the proceedings of this court. You will be allowed to give your testimony at the proper time, provided there are no further outbursts. Please be seated and remain seated. Thank you, Mr. Park.
Thank you, my lord. Mr. Green, what were the circumstances that led to the wanton coupling of your terrier and Miss Dodd's terriers?
Well, now, I was helping my mother make the porridge, and while Nellie was sitting by the front door, I wandered off in the direction of the back row, which I thought was unusual, as he's very partial to a bowl of porridge. I wasn't able to call him back, for the porridge was at just that stage where if you didn't stir it right, it can come up kind of lumpy. Anyways, I heard Miss Dodd's yelling her head off, so much so I feared the woman was under attack.
I assume then that you left your porridge pot and ran to ascertain what was the cause of the row in the back row.
I did indeed, sir.
And what happened then?
Well, the porridge was ruined.
And what scene awaited you on the rough ground between the flesh market and the back row?
Oh, aye, well, the terriers had become guile acquainted, as it were, and I took a grip of Nellie by the neck and I pulled him away, and Miss Dodd came running over the park, brandishing a broom.
And where was Miss Dodd's terrier?
Well, by that time, Molly was sniffing about in the long grass.
And did she appear in any way distressed?
Oh, quite the opposite. No, she looked quite pleased with herself.
Now, as to your petition for a claim of half the monies gained from the sale of the pups, do you consider it to be a fair bargain?
Well, I ken Miss Dodd never intended her Molly to have pups, but I saw how she was more than willing to sell the entire litter to his worship, Mr. Scott, and were it not for Nellie, there'd be no pups to sell.
Indeed. Thank you, Gunner Grieve. I have no more questions, my lord.
Mr. Roger?
If I may, my lord, Mr. Grieve, do you not accept that the act of giving birth is a painful and often dangerous experience?
Well, I dare say it can be, sir, but it's also a necessary part of nature. It's how we all came into being.
Be that as it may, Mr. Grieve. But Miss Dodd's dog didn't dawdle down the dingle with the dog it tries to mingle with your malodorous, mangy mongrel.
Aye, well, that's easy for you to say. But I bet you he'd follows her instincts. Pedigree or no, Molly must surely bear at least half of the blame for this state of affairs.
She must also have endure the discomfort of childbirth. which could so easily have been avoided. As to your claim to half the monies from the sale of the pups, Mr. Grief, should we discover that your dog is indeed stolen property, you will forfeit your claim to half or indeed any share. I have no further questions, my lord.
You may leave the stand, Governor Grieve.
Both of you.
Yes, Miss Blythe, you may come forward now and take the stand.
Wait! Call Tibby Blythe. Well, shake your feathers, woman, your name's been called.
Mr. Blythe, please place your right hand on the Bible and repeat after me. I swear that the evidence I shall give
I swear that the evidence I shall give
shall be the truth,
shall be the truth,
the whole truth,
the whole truth,
and nothing but the truth,
and nothing but the truth,
as I shall answer to God
as I shall answer to God
on the great day of
on
judgment.
the great day of judgment.
Thank you.
Mr. Roger, do you wish to question Miss
My
Blythe?
Bible. My Bible. Please.
Roger, do you wish to question Miss Blythe about the disputed ownership of the terrier?
With pleasure, my lord. Miss Blythe, please state your occupation and place of residence.
I am an itinerant purveyor of pegs and sharpener of knives, with the gift of second sight, and my home is wherever my services may be required.
You have no fixed abode.
Oh, just the kindly farmer's byre in the winter, and the shade of an old chestnut tree in the summertime.
No fixed abode.
That's right.
Now, in relation to your uncouth outburst of earlier, you alleged that Mr. Grieve's terrier is in truth the property of your brother. Is that correct?
Ah, you have it right, sir. The dog belongs to my brother Gibby.
Can you elucidate?
Well, I can read tea leaves and the lines and scores in your hand, if that's what you mean.
No, you misunderstand. Can you please offer proof that the dog is in fact the property of your brother,
Gibby.
Gibby, yes.
Oh, Gibby had the dog since he was a pup, and he was becoming well entered. Well, when he was only about 6 months old, he ran off chasing a stoat, and Gibby couldn't find him.
And where did this abscondment take place?
Over about Bow Hill, sir. There's an abundance of stoats to be found there.
And was your brother Gibby in the habit of trespassing on his grace, the Duke of Buccleuch's land?
Oh, no, sir. It just so happened that he happened to be around the perimeter of that place upon that certain day, with no purpose in mind other to exercise his dog.
And did your brother manage to retrieve the dog?
Alas, no. It turned out that the wee terrier was caught in a trap set by James Kerrs, the gamekeeper, for catching foxes. Well, Gibby was just about to release the dog when he saw Kerrs approaching. Well, Gibby shouldn't have been on the Duke's land, so he had no other option but to run off and leave the dog.
I see.
Kerrs spies the dog, and luckily it wasn't seriously hurt by the trap. And Gibby saw him pick him up and take him to the Duke's kennels. A couple of days later, Gibby summoned up the courage to go to the kennels and ask for his dog back. And as he approached, a horse and trap came to the direction of the kennels, driven by Grieve, and he had Gibby's pepper in his arms.
So, it would appear that Mr. Grieve somehow took possession of your brother's dog.
Yes, and he had no right.
Thank you, Miss Blythe. I have no further questions, my lord.
Mr. Park?
My lord, Miss Blythe, you say that your brother was walking with his dog along the margins of the Bow Hill estate. And you say that the dog was, as you say, well entered. Was your brother's purpose to exercise his young dog? Or was it to train him in the art of hunting for stoats on private land?
Oh, the very thought.
And I remind you, you are under oath, Miss Blythe.
Well, it's hard to curb the dog's instincts, sir. Peppers are bred to hunt vermin. The fact remains that the dog belonged to my brother. And Kersh found it, and as it turns out, he sold it on to Grieve.
The fault then, if there is a fault, lies with Mr. Kerrs. Or equally with your brother. Both of their actions were underhand. Your brother's attempt to poach a stoat from the Duke's land, and Kerrs demanding money for a terrier that was someone else's property. No fault lies with Mr. Grieve, and we must discount your allegation that he stole the dog. No more questions.
Miss Blythe, peppers, as you say, are bred to hunt vermin. Surely Mr. Grieve's terrier is not a pepper, because as we know by their colour of coat, they are unimaginatively named pepper and mustard terriers. Nellie here is undoubtedly black in colour.
I would know by his character and his shape and his eyes, and not anywhere, my lord.
That is hardly proof that the terrier sold to Mr. Grieve was your brother's dog. Yes, Governor.
Well, if you please, your sheriffship, Nellie here on board ship ran into a bucket of tar, and it covered him all over, apart from this little wee bit just under his collar.
Are you telling me your terrier is a pepper, Gunner Creek?
He is indeed, sir.
Be that as it may, this is still insufficient proof that Gunner Grieve's terrier belonged to your brother. You have wasted your time, I'm afraid, Miss Blythe. You may leave the stand.
He'll always be Gibby's wee pepper. That's Gibby's dog. That's Gibby's wee pepper.
Thank you, Miss Blythe.
Can I tell you a fortune, sir?
Oh, wait!
Well,
Gold watch.
there have been some very peculiar ongoings in this court from time to time, but never, I think, to the extent of what you have witnessed this day. And all over the love affair between two pepper terriers. Mr. Roger, you may give your summation.
Thank you, my lord. My lord, Miss Isabella Dodd has testified that her pepper terrier, Molly, was taken advantage of, and that Gunner Grieve's terrier acted with uncouth carnality towards her. The discomfort and the distress that Molly will no doubt endure in 2 months' time cannot be measured in mere monetary terms. However, we do estimate a sum of 5 guineas would provide suitable compensation and indeed a penalty for the misdemeanour. Gunner Grieve should be held liable for the 5 guineas and indeed for full expenses of the process.
Thank you, Mr. Roger. Mr. Park, your summation, please.
My lord, Miss Dodd has been reluctant to accept any responsibility for her terrier's condition. She allowed her terrier to wander off, knowing that she was in season and ran the risk of becoming pregnant. It is a happy chance that it was Gunner Grieve's terrier, which, as we know, is a pepper, who was Molly's paramour that day. Miss Dodd will now no doubt be happy for Molly to give birth to her pure-bred pepper offspring, and happy also to receive payment for their sale. Gunner Grieve, who is, despite the defamatory and erroneous claim to the contrary, Nellie's rightful owner, and is fairly entitled to half the money earned from the sale of the puppies. I ask that this court grant Gunner Grieve the right to his half share and refuse Miss Dodd's petition for a reparatory fine of 5 guineas.
Thank you, gentlemen. I have been greatly intrigued by this tale of romance, heroism, deception, wrongful accusation and mistaken identity. I draw inspiration for my writings from life, and here we have life in all its diverse components. Today we have proved that Gunner Grieve's terrier is a male, an unsung hero of naval battles, a formidable foe of vermin, and a purebred pepper terrier. Nellie, therefore, having become unwittingly, shall we say, the father of pepper terriers, purebred pepper terriers, we must therefore rejoice that he is to pass on these worthy traits to the next generation. We may be allowed to suggest that Nellie is something of a dandy. Yes. And that this might be a characteristic of all male individuals of this kind. And taking all the aforementioned characteristics into consideration, I'm sure we might in time decide on a more imaginative name for the breed. Miss Dodd.
Stand!
I hope you may...
if you please.
I hope that you may be happy that Molly is to be the proud mother to healthy pups. Although this happy union was not intended, I do wonder how many here can say their existence is the result of a premeditated bargain. My offer still stands to buy the puppies for 1 shilling each, regardless of how many may arrive. And what you do with the money is, of course, your own decision, but I believe that Gunner Grieve deserves at least half of the proceedings. Gunner Grieve.
Stand!
We are all very impressed by Nellie's loyalty and courage, and we hope he lives a long and a happy life. The tar embedded in his coat, however, may prove detrimental to his health in the long run, and so therefore I charge you to have the tar removed as soon as possible, thus returning him to his splendid pepper colour. I believe lamp oil may be of limited effect in dissolving the tar, and I therefore suggest the affected fur should be cut away to allow the splendid pepper fur to grow in afterwards. And I sincerely hope that this may be accomplished soon and before the winter chill. As to the interlocutor, I therefore refuse the pursuer's petition for 5 guineas reparation, and I find no expenses due to either party. You may be seated. Yes, Miss Dodd?
Now that we know that Molly's puppies will be purebred puppies, might we arrange a more suitable payment?
I'm afraid the price of 1 shilling was agreed before witnesses in a court of law, Miss Dodd, and therefore cannot be altered. I shall be there to collect the puppies in due course and pay the price agreed. Thank you. Mr. Ingalls.
This court will rise.
Why did you not tell me it was a purebred pepper? Why? Oh, I'll never trust Molly. Ever again. Ever.
Here you go, son. Now that's a mere suitable leaf. That's what they'll call you. I think old James cares a trick.
Beloved brethren and sisters, let it be known that on this date of the 26th of November 1807, that his lordship has decreed that Miss Dodd's terrier is to beget purebred peppers and will be purchased for the princely sum of one.